There's no superhero as iconic as Superman, the blue-eyed Boy Scout, the alien immigrant born on Krypton and raised in good old Kansas by a loving couple, raised to be Earth's protector in the city of Metropolis. He's one of the great modern American myths, a hero who's almost always portrayed as a bastion of truth and justice, even in his alter ego day job as Daily Planet journalist Clark Kent. And while Superman has endured for over 80 years on the page, first appearing in Action Comics #1 in June 1938, he's also been a screen mainstay in TV and movies, from 40s screen serials to Richard Donner's 1978 blockbuster which promised, "You'll believe a man can fly." Even now, there's Henry Cavill donning the cape in the DCEU, Tyler Hoechlin portraying the latest small-screen iteration in Arrowverse series Superman and Lois, and word that JJ Abrams is putting his produceorial might behind another movie version of Superman with writer Ta-Nehisi Coates. Here's a ranking of the most memorable screen takes on the last son of Krypton. Number 11, John Newton. Appears in Superboy, 1988. Part of Superman's 50th anniversary celebrations, Superboy's half-hour episode started airing in syndication in the autumn of 1988, with fresh-faced newcomer Newton in the lead. The series was produced by the Salkinds, who'd been behind the first 3 films and Supergirl, but Newton perhaps leaned a bit too hard on making the role his own. "I had my own anti-Chris Reeve thing going on," he said, "which I overdid. I wish I had made Clark more insecure, instead of not nerdy." Number 10, Gerard Christopher. Appears in The Adventures of Superboy, 1989 to 1991. A second season shake-up saw Newton replaced, and as the series progressed with Christopher it began to grow out of its juvenile origins and into something getting much closer to traditional Superman. Looking back at it now, it became an obvious progenitor for Lois and Clark, which eventually replaced it. Christopher's comic book faithful portrayal was, he said, a scary but awesome responsibility, but he invested himself in the series to the extent that he ended up a writer and producer as well as its star. Number 9, Kirk Alyn. Appears in Superman, 1948, Atom Man vs. Superman, 1950. The first ever live-action Superman, Alyn played the Man of Steel in 2 15-part movie serials. Starting as a chorus boy in vaudeville and on Broadway, he'd gone on to work as a song and dance man in a number of screen musicals, and it's that sense of graceful movement and athleticism that he brings to the role. "I didn't think you could ever put Superman on film," he recalled in 1987. "I thought it was a publicity stunt. I was 37 when I played Superman. I picked up that girl and ran up that flight of stairs like it was nothing."
For the test been completed, Doctor?
Yes, Mr. Secretary. A concrete blockhouse has been built in the western desert, miles from any habitation.
I'd like you to see that test, Superman. The location is here. That's about 2,000 miles away. I can be there in 30 seconds.
Blindfold. Now give me your information.
I know how to make Superman helpless.
I'm waiting.
The meteor that fell the other night is a fragment from the planet Krypton. Its rays take away all of Superman's powers.
Number 8, Tyler Hoechlin. Appears in Supergirl, 2016-2021, Superman and Lois, 2021. The kid from the road to perdition grew up to be the star of Teen Wolf, before being handed the role of Superman in the CW's Arrowverse. He made the first of many guest appearances on Supergirl in 2016, followed by crossover episodes of Arrow and The Flash and, of course, the event series Crisis on Infinite Earths. His success in the role was such that he's now starring in his own spin-off series.
Our dad told us all these stories about growing up here.
Tell you it sucks?
Actually, I think he kind of loved it.
We came here as a family.
Like it's too dangerous for them to know.
It's more dangerous if they don't.
You're Superman? No, we've seen Superman before. We've seen him.
You told the boys you're Superman.
Couldn't lie to them anymore. This is gonna keep my family together.
Clark, it's gonna tear it apart.
All the times you were gone, you lied to me, you both did.
I can't just abandon the world.
The world will always need Superman. Right now, this family needs you more.
Superman.
Number 7, Dean Cain. Appears in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, 1993-1997. Gerard Christopher almost carried on from Superboy into Lois and Clark, but when the producers decided they wanted a complete break with the past, it was Cain that landed the role. As the title suggests, the 90s series was as much, if not more, about the Kent-Lane relationship than super-powered pummeling. Cain pitched his Superman somewhere between Christopher Reeve and George Reeves, presenting a beefier romantic lead as Clark than had often been the case previously. Cain wasn't an aw shucks kind of guy. Number 6, Brandon Routh. Appears in Superman Returns, 2006. Bryan Singer's reverent, nostalgic, wistful homage to Richard Donner's Superman is also a distinctly wonky take on the material. It's a divisive film, and Routh's is a difficult Superman to place, since he's essentially playing Christopher Reeve as much as he's playing Clark Kent. He doesn't really get to imprint much of his own take on the role, Although behind the Reeve wholesomeness there's a unique touch of sadness behind the eyes of this Superman, who disappeared for a decade, leaving Lois behind. The film failed to kick off a new series, but Ruth eventually got an encore in the 2019 Arrowverse TV crossover event Crisis on Infinite Earths.
You've been gone a long time. Where did you go?
You have great power. Even though you've been raised as a human being, you are not one of them.
It's not easy for me to live my life being who I am, keeping secrets.
Clark, hey, welcome back. I see you've already met the Munchkin.
Hello. Yeah, well, you've been gone. Fearless reporter Lois Lane is a mommy. But if you ask me, she's still in love with you-know-who.
How could you leave us like that? I moved on. So did the rest of us. The world doesn't need a savior. And neither do I. Lex Luthor.
This is kind of a little reunion, isn't it? Heck, I'm a fan.
I'll have
Advanced technology. Thousands of years beyond what anyone could throw at me.
But millions of people will die.
Billions!
You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but every day I hear people crying for one.
Come on, let me hear you say it just once.
You're insane.
No! No, the other thing.
Superman will
Bring it on! Now fly.
Number 5. Tom Welling. Appears in Smallville, 2001–2011. No fights, no tights was the rule, and yet somehow, Smallville still felt entirely like a Superman show. Like Gotham a few years later, the idea was to follow the boy who becomes the hero, and Welling kept audiences engrossed in that journey for a decade. We finally got a glimpse of the blue suit and the symbol in the final frames of the final episode. Welling returned to play Clark Kent, Natch, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but still didn't wear the Superman costume. He said he wouldn't have done it if that had been required of him.
Do you believe a man can fly? People can't fly, Lex. I did.
October 16th on the WB's New Tuesday.
It's the day of the meteor shower. This is how you came into our world, son. What are you trying to tell me, Dad?
A small town on the edge of innocence.
Who's there?
It's me, Clark. I'm used to people judging me before they get to know me. I don't want anything to stand in the way of our friendship.
Sometimes people can surprise you.
We are the future, Clark.
A young man on the threshold of destiny.
We wanted to protect you. Protect me from what?
Michael Rosenbaum, Kristen Crook, and Tom Welling.
We didn't find you, Clark. You found us.
The WB presents Smallville.
Number 4. Bud Collyer. Appears in The Adventures of Superman, 1940–1951. The New Adventures of Superman, 1966–1970. Actor and presenter Collyer was the definitive voice of Superman for decades. He began on radio, recording an incredible 2,088 episodes first for Mutual, then WOR and finally ABC. And it was then naturally his voice that was heard in the gorgeous Fleischer Brothers animations of the 1940s, and 4 seasons of TV cartoons by Filmation. He used different voices, tenor and bass, for Clark and Superman. On the radio, in every episode, he conveyed the costume change by dropping his register during the line, "This is a job for Superman." Number 3, George Reeves. Appears in Superman and the Mole Men, 1951, Adventures of Superman, 1952–1958. Solid and stoic, Reeves brought Superman to live action for most of the 50s, the original B-movie serving as the pilot for the first-ever Superman TV series. Bud Collyer had flatly refused to play the role in anything but voice, but the TV show does keep some of the radio series' DNA, including the famous opening announcement about Superman being faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. We never actually saw Reeves do anything much more energetic than jump out of a window. He barely differentiated Clark and Superman, and the tone was determinedly light and kid-friendly. But for decades Reeves was definitive.
Target is danger. Into the fray leaps the mighty Man of Steel, racing with supersonic speed to exploding excitement, bolting fearlessly into violence and villainy. No human onslaught can stay him. Super invincible, zooming out of the skies and crashing through into the very teeth of hair-raising peril. A towering hero booming with super action. Sworn enemy of all evils, smashing through. His only shield, his super body. At every turn, slamming into breathtaking hazards, the superhero of them all. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a speeding locomotive. Leaping buildings in a single bound. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, fighting for truth and justice. See the adventures of Superman.
Number 2, Henry Cavill. Appears in Man of Steel, 2013, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016, Justice League, 2017, Zack Snyder's Justice League, 2021. A very different Superman for a very different sensibility. Zack Snyder's gloomily oppressive DCEU. The idea of a dark Superman seemed anathema to the character's entire history and ethos, but the fundamental point of Man of Steel was that he wasn't Superman yet. Cavill deftly playing an alien coming to grips both with his powers and his place in a world that's not his own. The potential threat of that setup lead directly into the conflict at the heart of Batman v Superman, even if that meant the heart of Man of Steel itself had to come from Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. The Snyder cut of Justice League should show more of what exactly the director had in store for his incarnation of Supes.
Goodbye, my son. Our hopes and dreams travel with you.
He'll be an outcast. I'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them.
What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended? What if a child aspired to something greater?
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did.
You're the answer, son. You're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son. And I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.
How do you find someone who has spent a lifetime covering his tracks? For some, he was a guardian angel. For for others, a ghost who never quite fit in.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
You believe your son is safe? I will find him!
My father believed if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about
Excuse me.
Number 1, Christopher Reeve. Appears in Superman, 1978, Superman 2, 1981, Superman 3, 1983, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, 1987. Still definitive in spite of the sequel's diminishing returns, Reeve seemed effortlessly to convey the fundamental goodness and decency of Kal-El, without ever succumbing to blandness. He perfectly balanced the social awkwardness of Clark Kent and the steeliness of Superman with huge aplomb. Even Superman's alien qualities came through in Reeve himself, who felt like the product of a different period, a classic movie star slightly outside his own era.
My friends, I'm not given to wild, unsupported statements. And I tell you that we must evacuate this planet immediately.
Jor-El, be reasonable.
Once there was a civilization, much like ours, but with a greater intelligence, greater powers, and a greater capacity for good. Tragic moment, that world was destroyed. But there was one survivor.
Now, wouldn't that beat all get out?
Because of the wisdom and compassion of Jor-El, because he knew the human race had the capacity for goodness, he sent us his only son. His name is Kal-El. He will call himself Clark Kent. But the world will know him as Superman. This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight. Superman, the movie.
Number 12, Nicolas Cage. Would have appeared in Superman Lives, 1998, Abandoned. And it would be remiss of us not to mention Nicolas Cage, the most famous Superman who never was. Although he did finally voice the character in 2018's Teen Titans Go to the Movies. A Tim Burton directed Superman with Cage in the lead. We can only imagine. But screenwriter Kevin Smith has told his side of the story widely, and the documentary The Death of Superman Lives delves even deeper.